Welcome, Laura. Thanks for joining us in our next episode of Who's Penny. How are you going today?
Very good, Damien. Good to see you again.
Yes, it's always a pleasure. Now, Laura, tell us a little bit about what you do and what your year's been like.
My year has actually been quite good. Thank you. It's been good to still have people around and connect despite not being able to see them in person. What I do, I am the owner of Unfold Architecture. That is an architectural practice, as the name says it. But what it really is, it's what I like to call a merge between design, psychology, and neuroscience. And I think that's our sweet spot and why our clients come to us.
And so this year, have you had varying different projects? And what are some of the projects that you really love to do?
We had quite a mix of projects. We work mostly in the residential space, from small extensions and renovations up to multi-unit developments. What I really love to do is to keep an existing part of a building, ideally heritage, and extend it in a very respectful way. I do believe that new builds, it's very hard with the new builds to find that personality and to create it from scratch.
Yeah, okay.
And I really like the merge between the old and the new.
It's certainly they certainly look much nicer when you've got the old at the front and the new at the back, and you don't see that until you walk through it.
What's exactly the element of surprise?
Absolutely. What are you seeing is the current situation in the marketplace for what you do at the moment? Is it still very active, or it's quiet?
We've actually experienced quite an increase in inquiries for the past 2 months. I feel that people felt so constrained during all these months of lockdown that as soon as they could do something, everyone wanted to do it ASAP.
Yeah.
So we actually probably 3 times more inquiries than usual at this time of the year, which is, I understand, something that's happening for other practices as well. So it might just be across the whole market, not just our practice.
And are you seeing any unique opportunities that are happening at the moment, or it's pretty generic stuff that sort of always happens?
Well, the grant has triggered some changes in the market. So a lot of projects that fall into the criteria for the $25,000 and from the 1st of January, $15,000 grant, those projects are prioritized by people just because they don't want to miss out. You know, the fear of missing out makes people quite anxious. And
also free money, Laura.
Well, if you're smart about how you spend it, you might just not feel the same way about necessarily getting this grant.
And have you seen any challenges this year for what you've had to do, or it has been business as usual?
I think for everyone who moved to working at home, and I'm now still in my garden, I have part of my things in the office and part of the things still at home. It's been challenging to collaborate with a team from home. I think that was the biggest challenge. With the clients, they found the need to spend more time in the meetings. I think that to compensate for not being in person, there was the need to spend a bit more time in meetings than usual.
Yeah. And now moving forward, what's the future look like for the next 12 months? Obviously, the additional government grants early in the new year. Where are you seeing the future beyond that?
For our practice or the industry in general?
For both your practice and the industry.
I see a bit of a mix. So obviously in the apartments side of things and commercial, there might be a bit of careful treading. Whereas in the residential space, smaller scale, I do believe there will be an increase in projects compared to this year. I can already foresee that. There is a trend to go a bit more into the NDIS and still aged care developments. There will be more of a push for sustainability. I do really hope to see a bit more done in that space as well, and from the government, but definitely there's the push from the industry for this type of residential developments.
And Laura, as we like to always finish off our Who's Penny episodes, tell me, do you have a useless talent?
Well, you know that I don't believe in useless, but one talent that I'm not using as often as I could, I'm very good at jigsaw puzzles. I
Yes.
used to do, I think my record is 5,000. I started the 9,001 before I left Romania 8 years ago. And my goal was to do the 35,001, but I never got to do it. So I'll keep that for another time when I do have.
And do you have a puzzle that's just sort of ongoing? You walk into a room and just do a couple of pieces and then walk out and do something else. Is that how it works?
That's how I had one. Yes, I had a completely separated room for this specifically. That was my 9,001, but I never finished it.
All right.
Just kids came.
Yes, and
And
they certainly can. They certainly can interrupt our hobbies. And tell me, what's an old trend that you'd like to come back?
I've been thinking about this because I've been watching your videos and I knew this question is coming. I'm not sure if it's a trend, but I remember when in my childhood at New Year's time, my parents used to go to parties where they would dance from early evening to the morning, and including ballroom dancing and including all sorts of music that was in trend at the time. And at the end of the evening, they used to sing. And I really, really miss that kind of spending the New Year's and actually those kind of parties. And I wish a bit of that would come back.
Maybe you might have to create the trend yourself, Laura.
Who knows?
Laura, thanks very much for joining us on Who's Penny. It's finally been a privilege to be able to chat about what you do, and I'm looking forward to seeing what business brings in 2021. So have a nice break, and we'll talk soon.
Thank you very much, Damien. See you soon.
Fantastic.